Are you ready to find out how to use Claude effectively as a business owner and the 5 features that you might not know that you really need so you can actually learn how to use Claude the right way? Now, I broke up with ChatGPT about 6 months ago now, and I've totally switched to using Claude, especially as someone who is an AI consultant and someone who runs a virtual assistant agency. Claude and AI in general has been one of the key ways that I keep on top of my business and also how I keep myself sane running different businesses at the same time. And if you want to learn more about this, I do have my monthly workshop that I run, delegate, or automate that you can sign up in the link below. And the first thing is honestly creating your business MD or Markdown file. And this is one of the key things that our clients really need right off the get-go, whether they're working with us on the virtual assistant capacity or they want us to systematize their business. The business MD file is essentially a collection of a few different things. And the main 5 things that you need to put on there. First one is, what is your business about? What is the core offer that you guys are actually doing? Not the vision, not the mission. What is it actually that you are selling? How is it helping other people? And the second one is basically on the people side, who are your target audience? Like, who's your target market? Who has this worked for before? So this could be case studies, this could be testimonials. And the third one is essentially, who are the key people inside of the company? Like, what are the key roles essentially inside of the company that for the AI would be important for it to know? So then it can like, oh yeah, you can give this to your chief of staff. You can give this to this person inside of the business. So that's the third one. It's like, who are the key people internal? And the fourth one essentially is, what are your current goals within the business? So whether you're aiming to hit 100K months or that you're someone who's just starting out, that is a key information. And that is definitely something that you want to make sure that you keep updating within your Claude or AI file. And the fifth one is just basically who you are, is who you are as a founder, as a business owner, or just basically as a user. That way for the AI, it knows essentially the key parts of how to work with you, what your resources are, and what your business is all about. And essentially when it comes to building the business MD file, it takes a lot of interviews and back and forth with our clients, but it's one of the key things that once you have this, once you've created your own Markdown file and you've turn it into a skill or part of the memory. There's different ways that you can use it. Within Claude specifically, I turn this into a skill. That way, every single time that I run basically Claude, whether it's for 2XU, my executive assistant business, whether it's Bullseye for the AI operations business, or even for Typewriter Pub, which is my publishing company, I can say like, hey, this is the context for this business. So then it remembers, it reads through that context file, and I basically can just context switch myself in between different Claude conversations. Now, the second feature that you really want to make sure that you take advantage of when it comes to using Claude is using the schedule on Claude Cowork or routine on Claude Code. Now, this is a little bit more advanced, but honestly, once I got a hang of it, I got really, really addicted on using it. The different agents basically that I have running on Claude Cowork, the first one is I have my inbox manager, which is basically based off of the SOP that my assistant created for herself of how she is currently managing my own inbox. And basically every 7 a.m. before she even logs into work, it already runs through my inbox, creates drafts basically of emails to respond to, and marks it as like, task for Honey, which is basically my assistant, and essentially just makes it easy for her to get started on her day. The second agent that I have run is I have a daily morning brief. So after essentially the first runs basically on inbox at 8 a.m., it checks again my inbox and gives me a brief on my phone through text, because I have it connected to my iMessage, where it sends me a message there. So then when I wake up, I look at my phone. That's the first thing that I look at that has my schedule, my inbox, basically things that I need to still respond to beyond essentially the capacity of Honey or the AI agent, and also an idea for a video that I want to do if I just had the urge to be able to create an idea. And the third agent that I really love using is essentially a Zoom scraper. So it goes through every single time that I have a meeting. It basically grabs the transcription and adds it into a meeting database that I have that essentially just has all of the transcriptions for every single meeting that I have every single day, and is especially important to me as a business owner because I have a ton of meetings, whether that's potential clients, current clients, or of course the team. I want to make sure that I'm capturing what are the things that I committed to or that they committed to that I can go back with them on. And basically the 4 and 5 kind of other AI agents that I have on Cowork is essentially one that helps me write my weekly newsletter, for my AI for virtual assistants newsletter that basically scrapes the content that I've posted and then basically creates a newsletter of that. And the fifth one is essentially just a repurposing agent that anytime that I or my assistant posts on LinkedIn, it basically can grab that and repurpose it to other platforms as well. So the Claude cowork just on a schedule has been something that makes my life so much easier, whether that's a daily thing, a weekly thing, or something that it basically just checks every single time based on the specific way that I've set it up. The third way that you might not be using Claude as much is turning your SOPs or your standard operating procedures into actual skills. Now, I've done a deep dive video on how to be able to do that, but it's essentially writing down the processes that you have inside of your business, the things that are actually getting done, not anything mythical or things that you want to do, but the things that are getting done in your business, and then turning it into a skill that you can then give to the rest of your team. And I gave the example on the inbox manager agent basically that I have, that my assistant essentially built based off of her SOP, that essentially runs on the skill that basically every single time that it fires on Claude Cowork, it looks at that skill every single time. It is basically the basics and the basis of what your automations could be, what they could look like, what it could sound like, all based on how you are making sure that the SOP is the actual thing that's getting done inside of your business. So then AI can start taking it over step by step, bit by bit, to the point where you give it enough feedback that it's basically updates its own SOP on its own skill, and it does it better and better every single time. Though the fourth way that you might not be using Claude as much is making sure that you're working on projects for like different divisions. So for example, for me, I have different projects for my content, I have different projects for specific business, and even there's a specific folder just for that. And the importance of essentially creating things inside of projects so you don't have to train your AI on that context over and over again. And for me, I like using it for essentially, if I have new business ideas that I don't want to share to everyone else yet, I'll just create a folder, a project for that, so that I can slowly start building the context files inside of that project. And every time that I have an idea, I know which project to log that in. And I don't have to feel like I have a bajillion things that I'm holding in my head, because inside of projects, I know I can dump it in there. And I even have, as a bonus, I'll give you guys this, I have each project inside of my Claude already coincide with a Notion page, so that every single time that I have an idea, that I work through it and I say like, hey, can you mark this or update this in the Notion page? I know that it also has the backup inside of Notion. And lastly, one of my favorite ways that I've used Claude is building out my own dashboard. Now, again, I do have a deeper video on this, and this is basically a demo version of my actual command center, but I have things like what is in my Notion, what's pending for me, what are my last notes from Zoom, what are today's meetings, and I love that I can just scroll through different parts of my dashboard and I don't lose this, so I'm always keeping in mind what's upcoming for me for that day. And then I also have any loose threads that I have with Claude. I have things from my Gmail that I need to respond to that either my assistant or her AI agent basically marked for me to be able to read and respond to. And of course, I have just like tomorrow's first meeting, because sometimes I will forget that I have an early meeting in the next day. So this makes my life so much easier, because instead of me opening up the inbox, the calendar, Notion, everything else, I can just open this and everything is intact inside of a live artifact that I've created inside of Claude. And again, if you guys want to learn more about how to be able to apply a lot of this into your own business, I run a monthly workshop called Delegate or Automate. Sign up with the link in the description below. But if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below, what are the ways that you are using Claude? I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Thursday on how to grow your business, especially in the age of AI. And if you are a virtual assistant, or if you want to learn how to use this for your career, I have a second channel right here, or you can just check out the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing and wonderful day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.